Yeah, just to kind of give an overview, you know, Andy was hit last night. I feel he overreacted. We moved on. We ended up hitting a player, Tatis, unintentional. In that spot, we don't want a guy on base, certainly him, bleeding into their, to their guys in the middle part of the order. And then at that point in time, Shohei comes up with the base open, and Vasquez took one shot at him, and then hit him again. And it's very hard to miss that bad with a right-handed pitcher. So for me, it's, if you're going to do it, own it, and there's no misfire, right? And then I just felt that I didn't feel a warning on both sides was warranted, number one. And so I just wanted to know an explanation. I wanted an explanation on their thought process. I didn't come in hot. I just wanted to know why they issued. And at that point in time, I realized later I got tossed, which I didn't understand or appreciate. And even looking back and to see Mike get the opportunity to talk to umpires after I was tossed and their explanation, and he was still in the game. So I think what anyone wants is consistency, right? And so for me is I wanted an explanation, what's going on forward of their decision making, and I got run. And so for me, it's just there was no consistency, and I just wanted feel for the game, and that's what I asked for, and I feel we didn't get it.
So your opinion was it the hit by pitch on the time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this guy, he hasn't come close. And for me, it's like if they feel that's warranted on their side, part of baseball, if that's what they feel, and I give them credit because they hit him in the leg, own it. And we move on. But it's not a misfire. I do feel it was intentional. And again, that's part of baseball, which we all understand.
When did you realize you got tossed, and kind of what?
Marvin told me I got tossed kind of when I was trying to question. And, yeah.
When did sort of get animated and stuff? Right? Like it was just the lack of consistency.
I'm a big lack of consistency. I'm very big on common sense, and so for me, for them to issue warnings, I feel it's common sense for me to ask their thought process and hold them accountable to their decision. That's all I wanted to know, and I was going to stand aside. And then again, I see the opposing manager get the same courtesy of explanation and stays in the game. So there's just no consistency with that. So that's kind of my, but again, back to the game or to the game. I thought we fought, guys laid it out there. The pitching, we found a way. Will had a huge night. Andy had a huge night, big defensive plays. And it was a fun game, unfortunately, to watch from my office. But our guys really played well, and Mark and Danny from the bench did a fantastic job of managing the pen, and huge win.
Andy said he wasn't more motivated after last night. We saw this clip of what Show was yelling at him during his thing was seized. Do you buy that, or did you sense a little more kind of hunger from him tonight?
I don't know. Well, whatever it was, whatever it tapped into or didn't tap into, he really had a big night and came prepared, and it's been fun watching Andy play baseball.
When you were watching the game in your office and Will Smith's going through that bat against Estrada in the sixth inning, what was going on in the office and your emotions through those 12 pitches?
I was with Alex Torres, our clubhouse manager, and I might have made my first home run call of the night. Of the season. So, yeah, I just saw the at-bat. I just saw that he was kind of bearing down, locking in, and, you can put it up there for at-bat of the season.
When you guys were in New York against the Mets, you and Tripp had a conversation, too, because he called that obstruction on Muncy. Do you think that carried over at all for either of you?
I don't think so. And you know what, to be quite honest, I didn't remember that was Tripp, and no, he's a pro. I don't think that carried over or he has any ill will versus us. I just felt in this specific moment, I felt that I didn't agree with their decision, and I think that's my prerogative.
Has playing the Padres so many times in such a short window in June kind of stirred emotions up?
I think probably. I think that when you get familiar with an opponent, that's kind of the natural kind of progression, I guess. You know, we just saw these guys 3 days, and you know, these games are certainly meaningful. So extra emotion, I'm sure, yeah.
Coming into today, did you expect to be using Tanner 3 days in a row?
No, but I felt that if it called for it to win a game in big spots, he was going to be available, and he takes care of himself, and it's been well worth it.
Game, yesterday essentially, and today, we're part of the plan. But how do you feel about the pitching for the rest?
I feel great with what we've done. Emmett's going to start tomorrow, which is exciting, and Robo's going to pitch bulk, and then we'll kind of see where we go from there.
Did you get to talk to them when you were walking off the field, or did you see that when you got back in your office?
I saw that when I got back in my office. Thanks, guys.